Yeah, 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 Urko. Hey, 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 look. Yeah, what's going on? I go by the name of Steph Urko, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Dungeon. How's everybody doing today? I know I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. It's my birthday today, y'all. So I'm had a good day for a Monday. You know what I'm saying? Feeling old though, but I'm blessed to be here. You know what I'm saying? And just praise God that I live to see another day. Got our wonderful co-host, Afro Puff.
aka Amari. Happy birthday, Steph.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Same, same. Long day for a Monday. But
I went to bed too late last night. Had to get up early. Had
I
a
get
busy weekend.
Mondays, right?
I know.
So let's just jump right into it.
Mhm.
The first topic we're going to talk about in this episode is Takeoff. A lot of people know Takeoff as being one third of the famous rap group Migos, and he passed away last week. He was shot and murdered. So here's the details that we have so far from the story. So basically, him and Quavo were outside a bowling alley and they were gambling with some other people. And Quavo was actually losing money in the dice game, and Takeoff was standing in the corner just minding his business. And when Quavo was losing in dice money in the dice game, the guy was talking to him and teasing him. You know how they talk trash and stuff when they're winning. I'm winning. Then things got heated. Words got exchanged. A fight broke out. Then somebody pulled out a gun, started shooting. Then people in Quavo's entourage started shooting, and apparently it's a girl that reporting she was actually there on the incident in the scene. She says that one of the bullets from Quavo's assistant that was shooting, it was the one that hit Takeoff. So technically, Takeoff was killed by somebody in Quavo's entourage, and he was hit in the neck and the head, and he passed away on the scene. So this has been a sad week and a half. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it because Migos one of my favorite groups in the past 10 years, like rap groups, I can say. So it's just sad to see another rapper get killed. But how did you feel about this?
I was I was at school, and I had checked my phone for something, and I saw. I think I was on my planning period, and I saw that he had passed away, and I was shocked. You know, and it's just crazy how it seems like almost every other month, every 3 months, there's another rapper being killed. Not just, oh, someone passed away, they had a heart attack or whatever. No, murder. Um, and it's just crazy the rise we've seen in death in rappers over the last, I feel like 5 years, even.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I,
sad.
it is sad. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I got the text, I didn't want to believe it because a friend from work actually texted me because I got a group chat with him and another friend. He texted to us early, like around 6 in the morning, and I'm waking up looking at this like, no, this can't be true. Then I actually Googled it 2 minutes later, and it was true that he had passed away. Um, but like you said before, a lot of we've seen this now, and it's becoming a trending thing where hear about rappers getting killed, and I like to do my research on certain things before I jump to assumptions like how did this happen? Like what place were they in? Like how did this occur? Like did this come out of nowhere? Did they know the person that killed them? And after hearing about the details that we've heard so far in this story, I think it's time for us to have an honest on talk. Everybody, like I'm talking to the people, I'm talking to everybody, like in a society, I'm talking to rappers, everybody. It's two lessons I feel like we need to learn from this situation. First lesson: when you have money, y'all, you gotta move like you have money. Like if you are worth millions of dollars, you can't be out here moving like you still in the streets. And the reason I say that is because Takeoff got in a fight with the dude that was beating him in dice. Mind you, he's worth millions of dollars. So whether he's losing or not, why are you trying to get in a fight with somebody? He's a street dude. This is not no regular other millionaire. Why are you about to risk all your money trying to get in a fight and risk your life doing something like that? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I feel as though like when this is a mistake a lot of rappers make when they get money, they think they're untouchable and they get too comfortable with it, thinking that oh I have money and I can do anything I want. And you hear about rappers getting fights in the club, you hear about them getting to altercations, they have beef with other people and stuff, and think I got money to bail myself out, I got money to get a good lawyer. But yeah, at the end of the day, you're still risking your life, and you got more to lose because you are worth millions of dollars. So you got to move smart. Like rappers work their whole lives to get to where they at. So at the end of the day, if you want to be a millionaire, move like one. Don't be acting like you still like a street dude in the corner. You gotta be move smart out here. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And the second lesson I think we need to be honest about, and we can take away from this situation is, eh, I think we need to start being honest about what we glorify, and two, what we like, what on situations we decide to put ourselves in. What I mean by that is a lot of times, I feel like a lot of rappers kind of put themselves in situations or like environments where they surround themselves with danger. Like if you're worth millions of dollars, right, you shouldn't be going to the back to your hood by yourself. Like you hear about rappers like I'm going back to my hood, we going to the strip club or we going to the bars and stuff like that by themselves, no security because they think they're going to get love in the hood, or think that like oh people are going to just love them because that's where they're from. No, if anything, you're making yourself a bigger on target. And plus, a lot of times they surround themselves with people that are still in the streets. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Right.
if you worth millions of dollars, whether that's your friend that you grew up with or not, at the end of the day, you're putting your money and your fame at risk because if this dude is still in the streets and he get caught up in some bullshit, that's your life too. Because he can drag you down right with him.
Right. And your reputation.
Exactly. So it's like you gotta be smart who you surround yourself with and what environments you gotta put yourself in. And mind you, I hate saying that because at the end of the day, if you somebody that worked hard for your money, you should be able to flaunt. You should be able to flex all the hard work that you made because you worked hard to get those diamonds. You worked hard to make that money. You worked hard to get that house, that car, etc. But the sad truth in our culture, and I mean black culture, it's hard to really flex your wealth around people that are not on the same level as you. If that makes sense.
Right. Because then you're giving opportunity for people to try and use you, hurt you, whatever.
Yeah.
They might not get all your riches, but when they don't have nothing, taking your 200, 300, $1,000 is a lot to them.
Yeah.
They don't value your life. They value what you can give them in that moment.
Yeah.
And so I definitely agree with the idea, like, once you make it to a certain level, you need to act at a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a millionaire, you need to act like a millionaire. Like, I get it. People like to gamble. I've never played like a game of dice. Like, I don't know the rules. I don't know how it works. I'm not going to lie. I'm not in the streets at all. Like, I really don't know nothing about it. Besides the people, gamble name, you win money, you lose money. You know what I mean? But at your big old age, I mean, I know Takeoff was 28. But regardless, at your big old age, with all the money you have, you could have went to a casino if you wanted to, gamble, you wanted to risk money, you wanted to have that type of thrill. It's just strange that people who have all the wealth, the fame, etc., are shooting dice outside a bowling alley. Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, and I don't understand why someone who has worked to get themselves out of certain situations to elevate their status, to elevate their money, wants to take themselves back down to situations where they don't have those things. You know what I mean? Like, why are you still associating? Not that you can't associate with family and friends who aren't on your level, but why are you still associating with the culture in that respect? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that poverty culture, that broke culture, that broke mindset, because that's why people play dice. You do not see wealthy white men shooting dice. I'm just being real.
Only at
You might see
casinos.
him at a poker game,
Yeah,
but shooting dice on a corner in a back alley in front of a bowling alley, nah,
yeah,
you don't. And so it's strange how often we hear of rappers who, they talk about, oh, I finally made it. Oh, I worked so hard to get here. Now I'm gonna flaunt my money. I'm gonna do this, do that. I got the latest car, da da da. And it's almost like they get all these things and it's still not enough
yeah,
because they're still entranced by this street culture, by these things that aren't going to serve them and that
yeah,
don't love them.
exactly. And I feel as though a part of that is because like a lot of us, like I said before, like a lot of us in our culture, we glorify the street culture or the street life. So even when they do get out the hood, they can't escape that mindset of, yeah, I gotta be in the streets. I gotta get love from the streets because that's where they grew up. And like I remember Wallow said this something on his podcast, or like he was on the Breakfast Club with him and Gilly the Kid. He said that in the hood, when you live in the hood, attention is like God, So a lot of rappers go back to their hood because they want to show like, look, y'all, I made it. I want that attention, that glory to be looked at as a king. Like, yo, I got out the hood, I got out the trenches. Like, look how much money I got, and they think that a lot of people are going to love them for it, which a lot of people do love them, but it's always going to be a group of people that are going to be jealous of you because, like I said, in our culture, it's hard to flex your money around people that's not on the same level as you because people are going to assume one that you flexing and they try to be envious of you, and two, you just putting a big target on your back. And it's like, why are you risking that? Because a lot of these rappers, they're the main providers of their families. You know what I'm saying? They take care of their kids, they take care of their grandmas, they take care of their aunties, their cousins. Like they put them through school, got them homes. It's just like your whole family is looking at you as the breadwinner. So it's like when you put yourself in these situations, you really got to think like, yo, if something happens to me, what's going to happen to my family? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I just wish, because honestly, I'm tired of just hearing about like rappers or like just successful black men in general just getting killed over situations we could easily avoid,
Right.
because like it's people that would kill to be in these rappers situations. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like when you get that certain opportunity or get to that certain level of status, you got to move accordingly.
Right.
So
Well, and I think part of the issue is they're still trying to move with people who don't value them.
yeah,
They don't care about your life. And that's the thing. Okay, you go back to the hood, you go back to wherever you're doing XYZ, but these people don't value you. They don't care about you. And they have significantly less to lose than you. Okay, I kill you, I go to jail, but I was probably going to go to jail anyway. You know what I mean? So
sad.
to them, it's whatever. Oh, I've been to jail. Jail ain't shit. Like to them, not to me, obviously, because I'm not made for jail. I'm too small. But it's true. You know what I mean? They're like, I've done that before. Who cares? Or I'm trying to go back, or whatever. They aren't doing well enough for themselves to want more for themselves.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. They're entrenched in this culture, and it's so strange to me. And I get like the idea, like attention, and you want to feel big, you want to feel important, you want to feel successful, even though like all the things you've accomplished should make you feel that way without having your community yelling in your ear or whatever. But I just think we got to do better. You got to want more for yourself.
right.
um and everyone knows the streets don't love you, and so it's so hard to comprehend, and it's so sad because we keep seeing these things. And not necessarily Migos as much, but they do it too. It's you can't like glorify drug culture, gang culture, violence in your music, and then I feel like it makes it difficult to live a peaceful life sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think part of the reason why so many young rappers are dying in these senseless acts is because their music isn't representing anything positive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so their minds are still in a negative space, and a space of scarcity, a space of poverty, a space of insecurity, you know what I mean? A street culture, you know? And so you're constantly rapping, singing about these things, and you're still associating with people who are about those certain things. And then, you know what I mean? And like, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be singing and rapping about killing people and then not expect to get shot.
But it like if you and it's like you said, like you can't talk about that kind of stuff and get surprised when you attract that kind of energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I think a lot of people don't really understand. Like at the end of the day, I hear people saying it's just art, you know what I'm saying? It's just entertainment, which I get. I grew up on listening to Biggie. I grew up listening to Tupac. I grew up listening to Young Jeezy, Gucci Man, T.I., all that stuff. And I just looked at it as entertainment. But at the same time, when you rapping about that negative stuff all the time, I mean, in every song that you make, you can't be surprised when somebody's going to try to test you on it. You get what I'm saying? If you
Right.
rapping up being a big street killer, you know what I'm saying? If you a drug dealer or I'm a street dude, I'm out here killing people and stuff like that. You think people ain't going to try to test you on that? Because there's always going to be somebody that be like, oh yeah. If I pull up on you and you going to prove it to me that you going to try to kill me, because there's always somebody that's going to prove that you're not as bad as you think.
Or who want to test you to see if you
Exactly.
are as bad. And then if you are as bad, you know what I mean? If you are really about that life, now you're risking your freedom,
Yep.
risking your financial security, because there's no telling by the time you get out of jail, if you end up going to jail, if you're still going to be able to make music. If your fame from when you were out of jail will carry you when you come back out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like if your fan base was really that popping.
And also, I said this back on a P&B Rock episode too. It's like, yeah, we can like put all the accountability on the rappers, but we shouldn't do that. You know, because at the end of the day, truth be told, I see a lot of people glorifying that kind of culture within our own communities too. Because at the end of the day, like we glorify the street dude in our culture. Like we glorify the dude that's selling drugs or the dude that's out here robbing and killing people before we glorify the regular dude that's working at 9 to 5 at Walmart or Home Depot. You get what I'm saying? That dude is considered boring. But the dude that's out here selling drugs, he got the fly clothes, the chain, the nice cars, the girls. That dude's the man in the hood. So when you see that all your life, especially as a young kid that doesn't have a positive black role model in your life, of course that's what you're going to think is masculine. Of course you're going to think that's what makes a real man, because that's the only image you're used to seeing in your environment. And we just glorifying that. And
Well, I
plus,
think it.
oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I was gonna say I think they feed into one another.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? No, you can't just blame the rappers, but I also can't. I don't think they are without blame.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because how many rappers who are not about that life, who aren't really into street culture, who, you know, who like to claim they're from the projects, but really they were projects adjacent.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who went to college even, but try to put on that front, try to put on those airs
Mm-hmm.
instead of being honest about who they are. You know what I mean? Because that's what's cool, and that's what quote unquote sells. But it doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we've allowed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so there are many rappers who really didn't grow up in an environment that was as negative as they're trying to create. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? That as a street or as hood as they're trying to create.
yeah,
And so they're putting on this false persona, glorifying these things that are really hurting our community. They're the reasons why not the rappers, but these issues are the reason why our community cannot get ahead. Because we can't get out of a poverty mindset. We aren't valuing the each other's lives. You know, we are succumbing to easy money or easier money, you know, drug money.
yeah,
And then we're wondering why we can't prosper. You know, just creating children without creating homes for said children. It's like a vicious cycle.
yeah.
And rap culture did not create it, but it does definitely support it
Mm-hmm.
and glorify it.
Yeah,
And normalize it. So then the people at home who are in these situations think, oh, they represent me.
Mm-hmm.
This life I'm living is okay. That this life I'm living is normal. When it's not.
Yeah,
It's not cool. It's not normal. It shouldn't be the life you want to live.
exactly. I know people that grew up in two-parent households that still end up getting in trouble with the law or still got themselves caught up in the streets just because that's what they told that they had to be. They had to be hard or had to be tough or had to be the street dude to be seen as masculine or what black identity is supposed to be. You get
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying?
no. Mhm.
So it's like you said before, like this to make it simple as it is, like we got to do better and we got to be honest on what we glorify, not just in music, but just in ourselves and within our own friend group too. Because I feel like even growing up, a lot of us don't check our friends when we get involved in those certain situations. Because like growing up, if you hear about your friend get involved in the streets, or I got a gun or something like that, or he's starting to sell drugs, 9 times out of 10, a lot of people ain't going to check that friend like they think they are. They ain't going to be like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, why are you in the streets, dog? Or what you doing with that gun?" They going to be like, "Oh, damn, you in the streets now? Oh, damn, do you be safe?" We don't check them on that, and then so it just like it continues that cycle of thinking like, "Oh yeah, he don't got no problem with it. My close friends, so this must be the right thing to do."
Right. Well, there's no one to, you know, there's no sounding board. There's no one to be like, are you sure that's the route you want to take?
Yeah,
If you only have people telling you, yes, this is what you're supposed to do. Yeah, this is how you're going to make some money. Yeah, this is how you're going to support your family. Yeah, that's how you're going to be able to get the freshest J's. This is how you're going to get the Cuban link, whatever, whatever. And those are the things you want. And that's all you see as available to you.
yeah,
That's the opportunity you're going to take. But the real outcome is the streets don't love you. And the only two things you can get from the streets is death and jail.
yep,
That's all it has to offer you. It doesn't offer you stability, it doesn't offer you love, it doesn't offer you care, it doesn't offer you an out, and like I think we really need to watch who we are glorifying, who we're praising, and even ask our music artists to be more responsible.
yeah, yeah. So,
Because it's sad. I'm sick of seeing this.
yeah.
I'm sick of hearing of another Black man dying for no reason.
Yeah, I think we all are, honestly. And it's a continuous cycle, like you said, that I feel as though we trying to break, but we not really doing a good enough job too. You know? So I my advice is we gotta do better. We gotta do better on what we glorify in our culture. And so we don't get surprised when a lot of these kids grow up being the exact thing we see on TV. We gotta be
Stereotype.
we got to make normalize like getting to a certain level of success and acting like we in that certain level of success instead of trying to still move like we still in the corners. And prayers go out to Takeoff, prayers go out to Quavo, prayers go out to Offset. I feel so bad for Offset, man, because they was beefing with Offset. I heard, and they didn't get a chance. He didn't get a chance to say bye to that's his cousin. So it's like, damn. So prayers out to the Migos and their families, and we just gotta do better. Gotta say to that.
I agree.
Now, second on topic we're gonna talk about Kyrie Irving. Yeah. So apparently Kyrie Irving been under fire these last few weeks because he made a Instagram post posting a link to a certain documentary. It's called give me a second. It's called Hebrew to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. And it's basically a 2018 film driven by anti-Semitic tropes about Jewish people. That's the description that you find when you Google it. So I didn't watch the documentary, you know. So, but apparently it also talks about like how black people are supposed to be the original people in like Israel. That's what talks about. But other parts of the documentary, because it's very long, it says that it's anti on Jewish people. And obviously, Kyrie said he didn't watch the whole thing either, but obviously he was just going off of what he did on research on. So people have been attacking him for the last 2 weeks about it, saying like, oh, he's anti-Jewish people, and people have just been throwing him under the bus. Shaq Charles Barkley. Even I seen LeBron James threw him on the bus, saying like he's caused more harm than anything. Shaq was calling him names. Charles Barkley was calling him names on ESPN. You know, they suspended him for 5 games, and here's the list of things that they're requiring him to do before he returns. They said in order for him to return to the team, he has to, 1, apologize / condemn the movie. 2, pay $500,000 in donation to anti-hate causes. 3, sensitivity training. 4, anti-Semitic training. And 5, meet with the Jewish leaders of the Jewish community. So, what do you think when you heard about this situation? Was he in the right or the wrong, or do you think it was just a big mix-up?
I don't think it was a mix-up.
Yeah.
And here's why. All right, so he posted this movie link, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't just post it on Instagram. He also, I believe, posted it on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't give any context. He didn't, say what he agreed with or what he didn't agree with. He just posted it. And he is a man of power and status and money. So you have a following. You have a large fan base. You've been in the NBA for what? 10 years now?
Yeah, over.
At least, you know what I mean? Like, you aren't a nobody. What you post and what you do influences people. You are an influencer as a celebrity. You know what I mean? Especially a celebrity, like an athlete, And then when people are calling you out about it, asking you about it, you double down. Like, he doubled down and said, I don't have anything to apologize for. It was not until things started to affect his career and people started to call for his resignation, and, people really started to be like, WTF, that he started to, suggest that what he did wasn't necessarily right, and started to give like vague apologies, but he couldn't even say what he agreed with in the video and what he disagreed with in the video. But you posted it and suggested that this is something you believe in, or at least parts of it all. You know what I mean? Like, I can't give you the benefit of the doubt. Not when it could potentially lead to people being hurt or killed. And anti-Semitism is on the rise right now in the US. There's been a lot of anti-Semitic rhetoric. There's been a lot of anti-Semitic things that have occurred, like in Pittsburgh, how they shot the synagogue, a house of worship back like 2-3 years ago. Maybe it was 4, it's 2018-ish. The Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh, when the guy came in and shot up the synagogue.
Yeah.
Things like that have been on the rise. And so for someone of his power and status and with his reach to post something that even suggests anti-Semitic things, it's irresponsible at the least, in my opinion.
Okay. So for me, I do feel like he should have actually watched the whole thing before posting the link to the documentary. But I just don't like how people are trying to demonize him, because let's say he didn't watch the whole movie, right, and he posted a link on Instagram and Twitter. I don't think he really understood like what he was trying to do, and I know he's a big influencer, but at the same time, when he backed down, because I watched both of the interviews that he did before that he was forced to try to make him apologize. He explained like clearly the message he was trying to say.
Okay, what was his message then?
He was trying to say like it was more so saying like how black people were the original people. That's the message that he was trying to agree with. He wasn't trying to disown and say like he hate Jewish people or like Jews are like beneath. So like,
right. But then why didn't he create context when he made his post? And more importantly, why didn't he use a better source? Because there's lots of sources that suggest that black people are the original people. That's not unfamiliar. That's not something that isn't easy to come across necessarily.
Yeah.
So why'd you choose the documentary that also has a lot of anti-Semitism in it? That's my issue. And he didn't watch the whole thing, because that's not what I had read.
Yeah, I saw it because he said it was parts that he didn't really understand and watch, so he didn't even watch the whole thing.
See,
Which,
when I was doing my research, it sounded like he had watched it,
mm-hmm,
and he just had said there were certain parts of it that he did not agree with.
mm-hmm,
But not agreeing with certain parts and watching the whole thing are not the same thing.
right,
And if you can't say which parts you don't really agree with, that's where my issue is.
yeah. So they said that he's in talks. He might retire and
And I'm gonna be real with you.
what?
This is not like the first incident where he said some questionable or done some questionable things.
Was
He, he's talked about being like a flat earther. Um, and then he's had a lot of very public issues with like the COVID-19 vaccine.
yeah, yeah,
And he's just has spread and sprouted like some weird, very like right-wing extremist points of view. You know, supporting things that Alex Jones says and does. Like, I don't know. He just something seems off with the brother. I'm gonna be real.
but is it off like just to have like a different opinion from the mass majority sometimes though? Because I know like a lot of times like we like to think that having different opinions now or like having a certain different mindset from everyone else is a bad thing, especially when we think about it through politics. But I don't think sometimes like disagreeing with the mass majority is a bad thing. Like let's use the thing what you said about the COVID-19 thing. If somebody didn't want to get a shot, obviously you're in the NBA and you're required to get it. But if he doesn't agree with it, that's just a decision. That doesn't mean that he's an extremist. Like, well, you don't want to get a shot. Oh, he's an extremist. He's a bad person. Sometimes people just have different things of opinions or different ways of looking at things.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I know people who don't have the COVID-19 vaccine. I do, and I'm still able to associate with them. However, your opinion should be rooted in facts and it should be rooted in science. And if what you're sprouting during a global pandemic is anti-science and is disinformation, that is where I have an issue.
Okay.
You don't have to have the same opinion as everyone else, but if your opinion is spreading disinformation, hurting people, or is hateful, then no, I don't think I can't agree with you. I can't back up your opinion, regardless of if you have the right to have it. And just because you have the right to an opinion and the right to freedom of speech does not mean you have the right to not have consequences for the things you say and do.
Okay.
There's going to be consequences, good and bad. You know what I mean? Like, you can be right and still have negative consequences.
Mm.
That's just how it is.
Mm.
So I just think I just can't give you a pass. There's too much going on in the world right now to be just giving people passes for their questionable views, for their being conspiracy theorists. I can't do it. You can do it. I can't personally.
Yeah, I feel as though even though I just don't like the fact that everyone's trying to throw him under the bus for like just a simple thing he did of the documentary, and I think he had good intentions when he posted it because he also posted other stuff on it because he's a very spiritual and woke conscious person. So like obviously it's going to be different views that he has, and I don't think he meant anything by it. But nowadays, like I feel like when you say a certain thing, people like to twist it up and try to run with it to make it seem like it's worse than what it really is. Because I don't think he meant to say like I hate Jewish people. I honestly don't think he meant it like that. You know what I'm saying? But like people are gonna run with everything they see on social media. You get what I'm saying? So this whole thing of like just trying to, I don't know, just trying to make him go through like jump through hoops just to make him apologize. Like the whole thing with suspending with the games, right? Okay,
Right.
they suspended him from the games, but the whole thing of just like, okay, you also have to do this. You also have to invest $500,000 to this organization. You also have to sit down with these leaders, which is okay. But my question is, are we going to hold that same kind of energy for people when they say anything about other races? Like, remember, like Paula Dean, remember her when she said her racist stuff about black people?
True, but here's what we have to remember about that situation.
Well,
The Paula Dean situation, it was things that she said years prior. And she was canceled. She lost her shows. She lost her contracts. She was not on the Food Network for years. She had consequences. So, like, that's something you have to remember. It's not like when Paula Deen made her racial remarks that she was just let off scotch-free, because she wasn't. Her career was not ended, but effectively discontinued in many ways.
Yeah.
She lost money in many ways. And so I don't think that's a good comparison. I agree that when people are speaking negatively about other races, there should be maybe consequences, you know.
Yeah.
But I think especially when we consider the rise of anti-Semitic talk and rise of anti-Semitic actions going on in our country right now, we have to be careful, because it's easy to assume someone's intentions as good, to give people the benefit of the doubt. But when we do that, like, we also open ourselves up to them pushing even further. Instead of saying, hey, no, we don't tolerate that. That can't happen here. We're not accepting that as a behavior and an action. If we go, oh, he didn't mean it, or, oh, it was an accident, or, you know, something of that nature, it's a very different effect. And we are literally watching history repeat itself in so many different ways that I just think we can't pass the buck like our forefathers did. We can't be gentle about certain things, because the fact of the matter is, if we're okay with certain people being targeted, or, you know, we dismissed certain people being targeted because it could be worse, or, you know, the person who said it is actually a good person, you know, they didn't mean it that way, they didn't know, da da da. We make those type of excuses. Well, eventually it's going to come to us. You know what I mean? Eventually those people who we were defending will turn on us. Um, oh crap, there was something else I was going to say, you know. There's a lot of things going on in my head all at once. But yeah, I just think it's a very, very slippery slope. It's something you have to be careful about. And it's just easy to assume good intentions, but when you literally posted a documentary that talked about how the Holocaust did not happen and that it was fake, I'm sorry, I cannot give you a pass. There's a lot of things that people can say and do that are shitty that I'm willing to give a pass for. That, the annihilation, the genocide of 6 million Jewish people, I'm not quick to give you a pass on saying that didn't happen, when there are so many people in this country who don't know it occurred and don't believe it occurred. And you, being the person of power and status and money, posting things like that, you need to be more careful. You should hold yourself to a higher standard, because anything you post, you're also saying you're endorsing, unless you're, explicitly saying otherwise. So posting a video, posting a movie where you didn't watch the whole thing, that just doesn't make sense to me. You could put, and like I said, if there were certain things that he liked about that video, but he maybe didn't watch other things, maybe come up with some more credible sources to back up what you really meant, or be willing to clarify instead of double down on what you did until your pockets start to be hurt.
Great. But that's all we got for our episode. You got anything else to say?
No.
Okay. With that being said, I go by the name of Steph.
And I'm Amari, aka Afropuff.
And this has been another episode of the Millennial Dungeon. We'll see y'all next time. Peace. Yeah. Ergo.